Fish are friends, not food.
Shut up, the little bastard drowned me.
Hi, I'm KB. Hello and welcome to another Mad List, hosted by yours truly, KB. This was recommended or requested to be a Mad Countdown rather than the Mad List, but I thought there's hardly a way to rank these on probably how tasty I would imagine them to be, but I could give them a rating instead of an actual ranking because ranking just requires more work, if I'm honest. And for a video like this, which is probably supposed to be a bit more silly, I would put it in more of a category of just sitting here in front of a camera, being a bit more dynamic in the process. So I'll just do that instead. So in this video, I have handpicked 10 or so Pokemon that I would eat. It's a bit odd because there are some foods, meat that I don't actually eat, like chicken, because I have a bunch of chickens down the garden, so it kind of feels a bit wrong of me to do that. And I don't eat that much red meat either, and stuff like that. The only thing I do properly eat is fish, a bit of cheese, and I don't think there are any cheese Pokemon. I mean, there is a Pokemon which makes cheese, but it's not probably gonna be here because of the reason, and neither is Tepig, because I would rather, if I was to eat bacon more of the time, it would be more of a freshly cooked bacon rather than the burnt out bacon that's gonna burn itself in the process. So with that said and done, and with the Pokemon down there begging me not to eat them and rather me be their friend, but I would say if you were a true friend, you'd let me have my own needs as well. Here are the 10 Pokemon I would eat. Number 1 is an obvious choice, Magikarp. I mean, a Gyarados would be a bit too big to eat. You'd have to launch a missile at it, and it would kind of be a bit too costly to bring something like that down, especially when it reaches Mega Form. Magikarp is more of kind of like, it's got magic in the name, so I imagine as it's probably going to taste like cod, it's going to have more of a magical taste. However, in the anime, it sounds like it's sick because it's going carp, like it's a coughing or something, which you don't actually want on your dinner plate. But if we're just talking about the video games, which this channel is mainly about, we would heavily consider Magikarp for that reason. But if we are talking about the anime, we'll remember the episode where there was a gigantic Magikarp, and if it's out of the water and it's flapping away, and fish, by fun fact, have small neuroreceptors or something like that, so they don't actually feel pain when they're being fished and everything. Yeah, I would happily be happy in doing something like eating it, letting it. Well, this is getting a bit disturbing now. This is supposed to be funny. Number 2, Octillery and Inkay. Octillery, I mean, I like those kind of tropical seafoods, and having big musculous legs to feast upon would be very insightful indeed. Just as a fun fact to people, an octopus's heart is in its head, which means that there's no heart to feast upon within the octopus, and I think it would be quite disturbing from seeing Game of Thrones, seeing someone feast on a heart from an animal. Octillery is also a Pokemon which knows the move Energy Ball, and if you can fire an Energy Ball down your throat, that means you've got plenty of nutrients to go. I love logic. Inkay, well, I just group them together because, well, obvious squids like octopus, but kind of different, but shut up. Squid, yeah, that instead of Malamar, I'd feel like Malamar would be the kind of Pokemon that would, if I eat it, it would be inside me and take control of me, and seeing it in the anime, it's very disturbing. So I would rather have Inkay where it is powerless against my belly. And I'd probably gain its psychic powers. I'm just putting prototype logic in there. Number 3, Clauncher. I love shrimp. And in this country, we call them king prawns mostly. In Drake and Josh, I remember there was the episode called Really Big Shrimp, where they had really big shrimp, and Josh was like, wow, these shrimp are really big. And I was like, nah, they're king prawns, or just prawns. I was like, wow, they're big. And then they kept calling them shrimp, but like, they're prawns. Didn't you hear the guy? But anyway, Clauncher is a shrimp. It's a pistol shrimp. And I hope that I can gain the power of firing a pistol at people. No, it's basically pistol shrimps. They have this kind of pressure that when they clamp down with their pincer, or if you can still call it a pincer, it releases an air bubble, and at the speed at which they do it, really send a massive sound wave to ward off predators. Nice bit of info for you there. which is exactly why I want to eat it. But I guess eating a prawn or a shrimp isn't so bad. All I'd have to do is remove the shell and everything and then feast upon its nutrient body. And then having someone like Clawitzer into the party would mean I'd have to remove a really big pincer, and I don't really want the burden of that upon me. So yeah, Clauncher is the one to go for. Number 4, most of the other fish, including Relicanth maybe. Seeking would probably be the best one. I mean, Goldine, attention span means it doesn't remember being eaten. Seeking looks even derpier, so yeah, that again. There's so many of them, you know. Luminion, I feel like if you ate a love disc, its blood would splatter everywhere. And same goes for Alamomola. I've finally been able to pronounce that right. Number 5, Clampill. Clampill is one, I went to Portugal in June, and while I was there, I thought, why not try clams? You know, this opportunity comes once in a lifetime, or depending on how many times I go back to Portugal. And often than not, clams actually tasted quite good when I tried them. So Clampill, seeing as it's an even bigger clam than the clams I tried, it would mean that there'd be a lot more meat there. And Clampill looks drowsy anyway, so I don't think it would notice that much. Not just that, but if you wait long enough, it will turn into a Goribus or a Huntail, and then Goribus can have a taste of its own medicine. And Huntail, we could have a staring contest before we get down to business. Number 6, Bulbasaur. Now, if you watch the Pokemon anime, you'll understand that Bulbasaur is the most merciful killing, non-killing, that I've got on this list. Mainly because Heracross just seeks the nectar from Bulbasaur's bulb, and in return, Bulbasaur just gets annoyed. Nothing else. He's not saying ow, he's saying Bulbasaur. But regardless, he's kind of like, just stop it in Pokemon speak. I'm not one that has tried nectar, but it does sound delicious. And probably even more delicious than when it evolves and just becomes lettuce. So, yeah, good luck for that one. Number 7, Fungus. Now, unlike Paras and Parasect, that is the Pokemon that is going to be non-lethal to both itself and you. I mean, Parasect, if it can kind of get some inspiration from The Last of Us for when you eat it and it just takes over your whole body and makes you turn into a cannibal for some odd reason, you can get over the fact that maybe Fungus will have some sort of kindness left in it. When you have a grass and poison type, but you can easily remove that kind of poison. And the poison only occurs if it's provoked. And if you put on a bee costume, then you probably won't get hit. Alright, put on a gas mask as well. I just like mushrooms when they're not trying to kill me. That's all I ask for. Okay? Number 8, Vanillux. Number 9, Ditto and Mew. Now, I saw another list of this, like I'm gonna say now that I didn't originally come up with this list. Loads of people have said, what Pokemon would they eat? And even in the anime, they showed a image of Magikarp looking like a fish steak. And so, in that spawned really how people would interpret their own feasting on animals that they enslave. Most people said that Ditto is kind of like gum, but you don't eat gum unless you are weird like that and actually cause harm to yourself. But as it can transform, it can be anything you want. It can be a pizza, it can be a jacket potato, it can be a popcorn piece, it can be anything you want. Same for Mew. Mew is even more powerful, but you've got to be very careful with Ditto. If you have it with the ability Imposter, it's going to copy something which you don't want it to copy in the slightest. I mean, you can imagine it walking through the streets, looking like the naked girl poster from your bedroom. Ugh. I believe Mew can use Metronome. Another energy ball maybe? And before I go to the 10th Pokemon I'd like to eat, I would kind of like to eat Macargo. I mean, it can cook itself. And you, if you stand close to it. But, you know, that's fiction. So it's not going to happen in real life, is it? If I eat Carnivine, it would be quite ironic if I acted like a Venus flytrap and ate a Venus flytrap. Same thing goes for Victory Bell. Cherubi, never been a big fan of cherries. Could do Electros if you were wearing rubber. And as cute and tasty as Horsey looks, it might have poison point. Kingdra, oh yeah. Number 10. Pokemon egg. It can be any Pokemon you want, and yeah, technically it's still a Pokemon. Just imagine Machamp giving birth to an egg, when really it looks like it should give birth to live young, but that is, well, actually quite odd. Skitty egg. I know, are all eggs actually the same size? Because if that's so, Diglett... How does I don't get that. I've stepped into my own brain now. Breed as much as you want and then have the old man cut. He's gonna eat them himself, isn't he? Kill the old man. No, actually, no, don't kill him. He's a valuable asset. Well, really, I mean, he does have the phone in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, so he's okay. But if I find out that he's hidden any, he's going in a juvie. So those are my 10 Pokemon I'd love to eat, or just wouldn't mind eating. For the mad countdowns that I said I would do on my KeyrunBenji channel, this is probably the style that they would be in, mainly because the first one I'm going to do, which should be up soon, is the top 10 Mastodon songs, and really I can't do playing the songs because it's copyright and everything, but it's just bastardly with stuff like that. They want to claim ads and everything. So, yeah. Just go listen to them yourself, you know, get a Spotify or anything like that, or actually buy their music. And besides from that, yeah, I would very much like to continue this sort of stuff. Maybe. Well, I've got a lot more Pokemon stuff coming up. Tabloid Facts video, I thought this was originally going to be uploaded on Friday, but I had so much to do on Friday and the electricity went out, so I had no internet, which is why the birthday video was uploaded a bit later. There will also be a mad showdown comparing the Pokemon remakes, as well. It's quite a weird thing to compare, I think, but it can be done, I think. So thank you for watching. If you liked this video, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you didn't like this video, don't share or subscribe, but leave a comment. If you did like the video, like my Facebook page. If you didn't like the video, don't like my Facebook page. If you liked the video, follow me on Twitter. If you didn't like the video, don't follow me on Twitter. If you liked the video, follow my Tumblr. If you didn't like the video, don't follow me on Tumblr. If you liked the video, follow my other channels. If you didn't like the video, you could be interested in my other channels. If you liked the video, support me on Patreon. If you didn't like the video, don't support me on Patreon. But if you don't want to support on Patreon, that's fine. Don't worry about that. And lights out. Twitch. That's also an option. Or anything else in the description. That's sorted.